In today's video, I am going to show you how to make light, flaky, 100% rye flour biscuits. You can see that these buttermilk biscuits are perfect. They're exactly what you're looking for in a biscuit. I love mine topped with a little bit of jam like I'm showing here. So let me show you some tips and tricks as I work through this. What you're going to do is you mix together your dry ingredients. This is the rye flour. I use a dark rye because I mill my own flour. And I'm sorry the video is so bright. I didn't realize it was. And then mix this together with your baking soda, salt. Ingredients are minimal in this too. I need to mention that. Mix this together. Once it's mixed together, what you're going to do is you're going to take chilled butter. You want this dough to stay cold until it hits your very hot oven. What this does is this is what creates those flaky little layers when that butter melts in the oven, not outside the oven. So take your butter and you're going to cut it into, I cut mine into about 1/2 inch chunks, and then this goes right into your dry ingredients that you just mixed together. Add this in, you break it up just a little bit, of course, before you get started. Now there's a couple ways to mix this. I use a pastry blender or a pastry cutter, as you're going to see here. You can also use your hands to do this. I've done that many times. What I don't like about using my hands though is I find that it softens the butter just a little too much. So I like a little distance between myself, my body heat, and the butter. So I use this pastry cutter. They're inexpensive. You can get them anywhere. You can see sometimes the butter gets stuck in there though. You have to cut it out. You just work the dough until it looks about like this, whether you're using your hands, knives, or a pastry cutter. You want the dough or the butter to be in smaller chunks. And then you're going to add in your buttermilk, mix this together. I usually move to a fork to finish mixing it. One thing you're going to notice about this dough is that it's a little bit higher hydration. I put a little bit more liquid into it. It's because rye flour absorbs so much moisture. All whole grains do, but rye flour especially does. Once you've mixed it together, now these pockets of butter, those are going to create the layers, but there's one more trick that I have that I always use with my biscuits, and that's to create a tri-fold. So you see I kneaded it together just a touch to make it a little bit more smooth. And I should note too that the oven is hot. The oven is hot at this point because you want to move these directly into a hot oven. But you can see I press it out into a rectangle and then I fold it in thirds and then in thirds again. Now the dough is going to split and look kind of ugly. That's not a big deal. This is a whole grain dough. It works a little differently than those that you make with all-purpose flour. Then once you have that tri-fold, press it out to about, I don't know, 1 inch or 1.5 inches, depending on how thick you want your biscuits. And then you're going to cut them out in any way you want. You can use a biscuit cutter like I do here. You can cut them into squares. You can cut them into triangles. You can cut them into hearts. You can cut them into anything. Bake them on a parchment lined baking sheet until they are a beautiful golden brown color on the bottom. You'll notice that the tops do not get a dark golden brown. And then pull them out. I love to eat these hot. You can eat them cool if you want, and then top them any way you like. Now, as always, of course, don't forget to subscribe. You don't want to miss any new videos coming out.